Clash of the Horns, talking about Week 1 recap for the Los Angeles Rams versus the Indianapolis Colts. And the Rams dominated this game from the very beginning, from head to toe. Started and dominated this game because you know what? The Rams are here to compete, and that's one of the things I've been saying. When I first talked about Sean McVay, when I first talked about Wade Phillips' defense, Sean McVay's offense, can the Rams' offense be better off in 2017 than they were in 2016? And I started off with the moves when it came to the roster, wide receiver position, and the offensive line. And that's exactly what happened. A lot of moves were made. A lot of people were upset during the draft, during some moves in free agency, some trades. But I said, you know what? This is looking like a really good competitive offense. He's coaching Jared Goff, which you already know Sean McVay can do when he coached Kirk Cousins. And then he upgraded the offensive line. Then on defense, they made some moves on the defense when it came to the draft, some players on the defense, because the Rams were already stacked on the defense. They didn't have to worry about it that much. They already had players, and they only needed a little bit of depth, and that's what the Rams have right now. And they dominated from start to finish the Indianapolis Colts. And watching this game like around 12 or 11, 12, 20 times already, it really looked like the Colts were way over their heads. They didn't know what to do on the offensive side of the ball. And then when it came to defense, the Colts have nothing but a bunch of new players on their defense, whether it's draft or free agency. They didn't mesh very well together, and the Rams picked them apart piece by piece by piece. Jared Goff's out there throwing dimes to Gerald Everett, to Cooper Kupp, a touchdown to Cooper Kupp, which was a really good throw. Shows a lot of promise, a lot of vision for Jared Goff. And you notice a lot of the haters out there, the Jared Goff haters, and I told you guys this if you follow me on Twitter. People were going to start kissing Jared Goff's ass. And starting now is a process of getting as many kisses on his ass, because there are going to be a lot of people going, man, Jared Goff's the real deal. I always believed in him when they were trash talking him last year. And I've always been a Jared Goff fan. I've always liked him in Cal. I've watched a little bit of Pac-12 football, a lot of USC, UCLA, Cal, Stanford. You got to know a little bit on the West Coast. But watching him and being, maybe the Rams are going to take him or Carson Wentz. Either way, I thought both were pretty good quarterbacks. And Carson Wentz in his own has been very good with the Philadelphia Eagles. Very good. A lot of people said he was way better than Jared Goff. Now, Jared Goff has a fighting chance. He actually has a fighting chance, which he didn't have last year. And he showed a lot of progress throughout the end of last year, when he said, if you guys remember back in those press conferences, this fan base deserves better, this city deserves better, the Rams deserve better, and I'm going to make sure that happens. And that's something Jared Goff said. I wish I can go back and get that video clip. And then he worked his ass off in the offseason with Sean McVay, with Matt LaFleur, with all those, Greg Olsen, quarterbacks coach, and they're doing a fantastic job getting Jared Goff ready. They're making him look very good week 1 against this Colts defense. They ran the ball very limited. I think Malcolm Brown would have ran the ball better better than Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley is looking like something's up with Todd Gurley, whether it's the vision, whether it's he's just not being very precise in his decision making when it comes to running down the lane and stuff. There has been a lot of video, a lot of tape out there, and that's one of the things about some of these videos. I'm going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm going to put that in the bad, because I didn't see any ugly in this game. I'm going to put that in the bad, though. Todd Gurley did not run the ball very well, especially with this very rookie, very bad Colts defense. He did not run the ball well. It might be his first game, official game back. He's going to probably get back in the groove, but he did not run the ball well. But he did become a Rams receiving running back. He looks very good catching the football down the field or on the side, on the left side, right side when they throw screens. And that's something I really enjoyed watching Sean McVay's offense. The keeping them off balance, keeping that defense off balance, putting up some screen passes, throwing the ball down to Cooper Kupp with the play action passing. A lot of play action and a lot of screens. Reversal to Tavon Austin, who got about like 8 yards. But we have to see a little bit more off this team. A lot of play action, though. I really like the way that he puts the play action out there. Gets, the defense kind of guessing what they're going to be doing. And that really helps out Jared Goff because he gives them a lot more time to throw down the field, inside of the pocket with that offensive line really protecting him when it comes to the passing game. The running game's going to get better. It has to get better if the Rams want to be contenders. But I like the way they're throwing the football down the field. I think Jared Goff is looking very good. And that's part of the good aspect from the good, the bad, and the ugly is watching Jared Goff make really good decisions. No interceptions, about like 300-plus yards, 1 touchdown. The best thing that he could have done is not turn the ball over, allow us to kick some field goals, allow us to score some touchdowns, run the football down the middle, some easy yardage in the red zone, and get a touchdown with Todd Gurley and Malcolm Brown. I really like the way this offense is going. I think it's going to get better. I think it's going to improve week by week by week. But after, you could say the half, Sean McVay wasn't showing anything new. He was just, whatever worked, he just eat the timeout, make sure the time's rolling, and then let's get out of here. And they ended up scoring 46 points. And it looked very good for that offense. I'm telling you, Sammy Watkins got some catches, Robert Woods, Gerald Everett, Tyler Higbee, Tavon Austin got 1 or 2. And then obviously Cooper Kupp, man. Cooper Kupp is a straight baller. A lot of people are not talking about Cooper Kupp, and a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon. Me, myself, I looked at Cooper and I said, I can see why. And it was mainly because of what Steve Smith said. This guy is the real deal. Watch out for Cooper Kupp. Nobody's talking about Cooper Kupp, and everybody laughed at Steve Smith. But Cooper Kupp is a very reliable pass catcher, very good route running. And it speaks for itself. Look at him on tape. He's not the fastest, most athletic guy, but he's very good at catching the ball, has an eye out for the ball, has really good hands, and, runs the route. He's there when you need him to be there, and that's exactly what Jared Goff has needed last season that he didn't have, and then he has now. So this offense is going very good, and I give all the credit to Sean McVay, man. He looks like the real deal. He looks like a guy that wants to win it. He's not in here for the job. He's in it to win it. He wants to win Super Bowls. He wants to have his own legacy, and that's exactly why I really like what he's done in the offseason to make this happen. This is a progress in the making, and to tell you the truth, Sean McVay deserves a lot of praise. And it was Sean McVay's first win, and after the game, Stan Kroenke ended up giving him the game ball, and
Anyway, we're really proud, and there's one guy that's leading all this, and this is our young coach here, Sean, and he's worked awfully hard, and I know y'all have. He's very deserving. We want to present him with the game ball.
Very, very excited for Sean McVay. I think he's the real deal. Now moving on to the Rams' defensive performances, and I think the best player in my mind, and everybody's mind, was Tremaine Johnson was the playmaker, man. He's the one that started it all. He was the one that started the savage beating of the Colts with that interception. You can see his eyes down the field. It was a little underthrown, but he made the play, took it to the house, got the Rams a quick score. And to tell you the truth, I was actually at work, and I looked down at my phone. It was 0-0. Next thing I know, it is 10-0. Then later on, LaMarcus Joyner ends up getting another pick six. Jared Goff, doing his thing. And then you see Robert Quinn sacking Connor Barwin, Longacre. Who else? Townsdale Smart out there as well. A lot of sacks in this game. A lot of disruptive play, stripping the ball for a safety. I thought this defense looked very good for a team that has barely started playing together, and that's one of my little questions when I was asking Miles Simmons, who's part of the Rams as well, or he's like their media guy as well. Is this going to affect them in the regular season? Well, I guess not. I got my answer. They played phenomenal against the Colts, man. And people can say, well, it's the Colts. They have a quarterback that isn't good. That is also true. Their quarterback is trash. The offensive line had some injuries, but the Rams were all over that offensive line. I don't even think it would have mattered if Andrew Luck would have been there. That's how good this defensive unit has been, with Wade Phillips being the one calling the shots. And I'd also think Wade Phillips is a phenomenal, legendary coach. I want him to win a Super Bowl for the Rams in LA. I hope this is the beginning of that, with having the Rams. And I've always said this, if the Rams can get a good enough offense, with the defense that they have right now, they can be a dangerous team. They can be NFC West champs. They can be, who knows, the NFC championship game or potentially a Super Bowl. But they need to have a consistent offense. Sean McVay is the guy to do it. Wade Phillips is the guy to do it, especially with the defense. And the playmakers out there, man, to me, it was Tremaine Johnson, LaMarcus Joyner, Robert Quinn, Connor Barwin, in a way, being very disruptive in getting Robert Quinn on the other side to get a lot of sacks. And, LaMarcus Joyner, man, is a phenomenal athlete. I think other than Aaron Donald, to me, LaMarcus Joyner is second in that defense. And people are going to call me crazy because I think the guy's all over the place. He's disruptive. He's all over the place. He makes everyone better. That's why Aaron Donald is number one, because he makes everybody better. And then it's LaMarcus Joyner to me. Then it's Tremaine Johnson and Robert Quinn. Those are my four best players on the Rams defense. And then you got guys like Alec Ogletree, Mark Barron. If you guys want to include Michael Brockers in there. But those are my four guys, the most disruptive players on the field. Without those guys, it would be very iffy on that defense. You know what I mean? Like if you didn't have an Aaron Donald, LaMarcus Joyner, Tremaine Johnson out there, Robert Quinn, those are your guys that make the most impact, in my opinion, on that defense. So I saw a lot of that going on, other than Aaron Donald not being there. So that's just my points made on the Colts game. I'm sure you guys already seen so many things going on. I was kind of slow on uploading this video. Hopefully you guys liked this portion of that video. And now moving on to the Redskins. And then now we have an opponent that has a quarterback, that they have an offense. One thing though, they let go of their two best wide receivers of last year, or the last couple of years, with Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. So they're out of the picture. Now you got to start with Pryor. Now you got to go with I keep forgetting his name, Doxson, and then the other guy. I forgot his name, man. But this is a good offense. This is a really good offense that is very similar to what Sean McVay wanted to do with the Rams, and that's kind of what he did. That's his blueprint. That's his offense. Is what we're going to be facing this Sunday. The only thing about this is the Redskins do not have a good defense. So I think we are better off than they are, because our Rams defense is light years ahead of the Redskins defense. So if we can be disruptive and get all over Kirk Cousins' face, don't let him breathe for 1 second and let Wade Phillips do what he does best, I think we can win this game very comfortably. But I'm not cocky, but I think we have the upper hand because we have a better defense, better defensive playmakers, more disruptive defensive line or front seven than they do. They have great players in Kerrigan. They have great players in Josh Norman. But in their defense, to me, that's all they have. Offensively, they have a lot of weapons. I think they're as dangerous as we are when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, being that we don't really know what we have still because we play the Colts. Okay, so that's a good opponent to start your year off with. Opponent that you can beat, opponent that gives you a lot of confidence. But then now you have an opponent that people are going to judge you really on where you are in the league when it comes to the talent around you, and you see how good Sean McVay is can he beat the Redskins? The Redskins are a legit NFL team. They are. A lot of people gave them a bad rep from the last week, but they were in that game until a last couple of very bad, and the bad interception from Kirk Cousins and a fumble that ended up being a touchdown. If it wasn't for those two things, and those were turnovers, And that was because the Eagles applied so much pressure that Kirk Cousins looked scared out there. He looked like he was a deer caught in the headlights. That's what happened, and that's why they lost that game. Other than that, they probably could have either won that game by a very low margin. That's what I was expecting, but they lost their heads, and they lost that game. They don't have that much chemistry when it comes to Kirk Cousins and the wide receivers, because both of his wide receivers ended up leaving. So I think the Rams have an upper hand. We know how we play. We know how this defense can be very disruptive. But they do have some weapons. That's one of the things. The Colts had a running back that's old, Frank Gore, and they had T.I. Hilton. Okay, that's their weapons. That's what they have. The Redskins have Kirk Cousins throwing the football. Then they have Jordan Reed, Vernon Davis, Pryor, Dotson, and that running back. I keep forgetting. I think his name is Randall, if I'm not mistaken. But they know how to, play out, be an offense. So it's going to be very, very interesting how Sean McVay goes about facing his old opponent, knowing that they know what he's going to do and he knows what they're going to do. So he's probably going to have to mix it up a little bit, put things out there that they've never really seen, and see how that works. And if not, do what you do. But man, just do exactly what you know to do and see if they can stop it. That's all I have to say to Sean McVay is, hey man, see if they can stop what you're going to be doing. Like, they know what you're going to be doing. You know what they're going to be doing. Let Wade Phillips kind of, a little bit of information out there and see how this team goes, how this game goes. And I'm very excited about this. When I saw this in the calendar, I said, okay, Sean McVay gets to go against his old team. We have a good defense. They don't. We have an offense that has potential. It looks like they're the real deal since week 1. They look bad mistakes. They just can't run the football very well. And the Redskins are a team that can throw the football down the field, but not in week 1. They lost some of their star players, and their defense is trash. I have the upper hand for the Rams. That's how I look at this game. Let me know what you guys think. Other than that, you guys, I'm gonna make my week 2 predictions tomorrow, or I'm recording this late on Wednesday. I'm gonna be making my predictions and then see how everything plans out. Other than that, you guys, horns up. Thank you guys for listening, watching this video, and I'll be making another video hopefully right after the game and talk to you guys about the game. So other than that, you guys, horns up. Thank you guys for watching, and peace. Subscribe, and I'm out.